Someone asked about thumbnails. Thumbnail sketches should be, so I'm doing currently thumbnail sketches for illustrations, but they follow the same rules. What you should be focusing on is the composition. But don't be like Charley. Don't do like a full rendered beautiful sketch for your thumbnail. Your thumbnail should be really quick. You're just focusing on like where you're placing the basic elements.
I would just like to say that's our channel motto. Don't be like Charley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be
okay.
like Charley. Thumbnail should be super quick. You're just figuring out where you're placing your elements. Sometimes they can take a while because you need to like think about them and like where you're gonna place things. So you have to try different compositions out really quick, but they shouldn't take you more than like maybe 10 minutes per page. Like they're really fast. I guess they do have to be a bit more detailed if you're working with someone, like you're handing off your thumbnails to someone, or you're working like with a writer or editor who needs to approve them. But like generally, they're really quick. They're just storyboards. They don't have to be beautiful. And thumbnail all your pages. And if you're making a book, I would recommend, like you see how I've got these all laid out on a page, I'd recommend doing like a 2-column and figuring out where your pages are facing each other. Because that can help. Because sometimes when you're making your comic and you don't realize it, but you've made the exact same panel on 2 pages that are going to be right beside each other in your book. So yeah, it helps to understand your comic layout if you're doing a book or something. How do you make panels flow and make sense? How do you know what to put in the panel? Is it action or emotion or both? So the way to think about laying out your pages is like, I'd say like your page is a paragraph and each panel is a sentence, if that makes sense. So each page has a point to it. There's something you're trying to say with this page. That could be like, this page I'm introducing a character, or this page I'm revealing a secret. This page I'm telling them that this character is dangerous. Whatever it is. There's got to be a point to your page. And that is the focus of it. And each panel should obviously lead up to that point, and support that. And each panel has a purpose as well. So there's like one thing you're trying to show with this panel. Well, you can put multiple things in a panel, honestly. But there should be something you're trying to show. So like, and it totally depends. I can't give you like a exact formula because it totally depends on like what you're trying to say. Depends on like the tone of your comic. But you know, you really need to think like what you need to say in your panel. It's like, is this panel to show my character just saw something like a monster and they're scared? Is it to show the monster? Is it to show they react to being scared by cracking jokes? Whatever it is. Are they showing that they twisted their ankle while running so they can't get away from this monster? Like, one paragraph is what I like to do. I'm breaking it up to make the page. Yeah, exactly. So your panel should be building up to tell the story of your page. Which sounds obvious, but you know what I mean. It's like how when you're writing an essay, your paragraph has like a point to it. You're talking about one thing. So I'd focus on that. Once you get more used to it, you can have like layered stories going on in like a single panel or a single page. But yeah, get the basics down first. When setting up the shot for a panel in the comic, how do you keep it from looking mundane? I would recommend just looking into composition, because that is generally how you can make things look interesting, by understanding how to lead your eye around. Staying away from only doing like straight on shots can really help make things look more interesting, like looking at things from above or from below. It also depends on the mood you're trying to set. Like, are you setting like an ominous mood? because what you put into the picture is going to be different than, because you can show, say, like a building. No, let's say a forest. You can show a forest and you can make it look like a happy forest by changing the colors, how you draw it, the camera angle, or you can make it very ominous by, you know, using very dark colors and adding lots of shadows, and maybe using like a Dutch angle where things are kind of tilted a little bit so it feels off-putting. So yeah, so it totally depends on what you're doing, but just play around with camera angles, play around with colors and mood and like the way you render things.